and welcome, folks, to Champions for Life. I'm your host, Ken Wilson. So delighted to be in the studio with you today. Of course, if you're not familiar with Champions for Life, we are an outreach ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services, a wonderful, beautiful, essential clinic here in Las Vegas that helps women with unplanned pregnancies. Our medical services include free pregnancy tests, ultrasound counseling, and a plethora of resources available to young ladies. And we're open every day of the week, Monday through Friday, and including Saturdays in the morning. And if you would like more information about our clinic and the services that we provide, you can log into, from our client side, firstchoicelv.com. It's firstchoicelv, you got to spell it out, firstchoicelv.com. Or you can give us a call. Our number, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. We also provide, for those of you who are not aware, we also provide the abortion pill reversal protocol, which is an amazing thing. We have over a couple of dozen young ladies now that have beautiful bouncing babies because we have this medical procedure available for them. Women who have taken the abortion drug and instantly regretted it. Maybe they were coerced, maybe they were forced, maybe they took it by mistake, whatever the reason. If they get to us soon enough, and time is of the essence, we can provide our protocol to them and save their child's life. And perhaps that's you. If you have taken the drug and you're considering, hey, say, you know what, this is not what I intended. We have a number for you, and it's a hotline. This thing's 24/7. You call this number anytime, night or day. We will get a nurse on the line and get you to a doctor and immediately begin a life-saving procedure. The number is 877-558-0333. Again, for the abortion pill reversal protocol, the number 877-558-0333. Just one of the many services, free of charge, that is provided by First Choice Pregnancy Services. And last week, just so that you may know, talking about how busy we are here, because we see a lot of clients. From May 13th through the 19th, we did free pregnancy test to the order of 35 free pregnancy tests that we did here, and 31 ultrasounds. 31. Absolutely free, no charge, ever, to any of the young ladies or families that walk through our doors. Absolutely amazing. And just to show you how important, vital, crucial, and successful this clinic is, for the 20 years that we've been open, we have now crested, what's the number, Max? 47,000 children are alive today. We could hit 50,000 potentially by the end of the year, that are alive today because First Choice exists. Isn't that amazing? Over 47,000 children. Absolutely amazing. You want to talk about how important this organization, this ministry is. First Choice Pregnancy Services, making it happen. And again, if you want more information about what we do, how you can be involved, or how you can invite us to your church so that we can approach your youth group who really needs this information, if not for themselves, but for students and others that they may know, their colleagues. You can give us a call. Our number, again, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. This show, by the way, is being simulcast on YouTube. You can look us up, FCPS Champions Podcast on YouTube. On Rumble, I believe we are Champions for Life. We are also on Spotify and Facebook and Apple Podcast. We're everywhere. And if you'd like to hear us just at your leisure, we have a number. The podcast now, I guess we've been doing it now. Are we coming up? Actually, we've been doing the radio show on KKVV for a couple of years. And it's just been a blessing to let people know about this organization, this free clinic right here in the heart of Las Vegas. I just want to tell you something too, by the way. For those of you that love Focus on the Family, they awarded First Choice years ago an award as the model crisis pregnancy center in the nation. In the nation. And it's located right here in Las Vegas. Now, how you don't know about this, I have no idea. You should. You should. And all the young ladies that find themselves who maybe just want more information. Maybe, maybe they have yet to have an unplanned pregnancy, but they want to know, what is an abortion? What different types of abortion? What are the effects of the abortion pill? What is that all about? All of these services, all the counseling, all the information, all of that's free of charge. You just come on down to the clinic and just talk to our wonderful people here. And I tell you, when you come here, it's beautiful. It's an absolute beauty. It's a sanctuary, really. A sanctuary of life, and there's just angels that just walk around this place. These beautiful ladies and guys that work here, Max being one of the guys here, that just makes it happen here. And you'll fall in love with this organization and this clinic immediately. And it's located right in the heart of Las Vegas, 860 East Sahara, right next to Tower of Jewels. And a beautiful facility, and you're just going to love it. Get more information. Again, we have 2 sites. Now, our client side site is firstchoicelv.com. You have to spell it out, firstchoicelv.com. And, but let's just say, and for those of you who are watching on YouTube, there's our site right there. Beautiful thing about this is you can book an appointment online, and you can call us. You can call us, via the web, or if you really need emergency medical services like abortion pill reversal, our number's there available as well. Under services, I believe. And the abortion pill reversal is right there. And just all of this available. And it's just beautiful. Now, that's our client side for those who really need medical attention, either immediately or in the coming days, or even down the road. But for those of you who just, I know First Choice, or I want to know more about it, we have another website, and that's just for you. And that's fcpschampions.org. And this is the website. For those of you looking on YouTube and Rumble and Facebook, this is our website, and it's just beautiful. And the nice thing about it is not only does it have all of our podcasts there, which of course is somewhat important, but it also has our fundraising events, all the events that we're going to have, volunteer opportunities for those of you who would like to volunteer here and just, be a part of the miracles that happen here. Just all of that information is there. And even those of you who would like to perhaps be hired by First Choice, that information is available as well. And specifically medical professionals. If you're a nurse, sonographer, or a doctor, specifically even an OBGYN, doesn't have to be an OBGYN, but if you fall into any of those categories and you'd like more information, or perhaps you have a practice and you would like to link First Choice to your practice. In other words, refer young ladies who, in your practice, perhaps you don't offer the services that we do or in depth as we do, or maybe you have a particular patient that really could use some of our counseling and personalized attention, then send them our way, and we can get more information to you, and we can align our practices so that we can better serve Las Vegas. Amen? So again, that website for those of you who just like more information about what we do, it's FCPS, stands for First Choice Pregnancy Services, fcpschampions.org, and you'll just see all the beautiful things that are happening there. Call and make a tour appointment for a tour, and just see the beautiful facility that we have. You have to call because, very often we're very busy, and especially with the proliferation of the abortion pill throughout the United States, including Nevada, we are seeing more and more clients. And which is why we need a second clinic. So continue to pray. For those of you who are already praying for us to get a second clinic, please continue to pray. We need this. It is in our future. We just are asking the Lord to expedite it so that we can be more effective in our ministry. Listen, we've got a city of 3.5 million people. I think we're closer to 4 million. I mean, there's just a lot of people here. And there's only 2 pregnancy help centers in this city, which is incredible. We vastly need more. And furthermore, as I often say, we don't want First Choice to be the best kept secret in Las Vegas. We want everyone to know that we exist. So that not only that we can save lives, but that we can be more effective as we help in our ministry, in our medical outreach to our community. We need people to know that we exist. It's just that simple. And you can help us by letting your pastor know, say, hey, listen, we would love, the First Choice would love to come to our church and show, our congregation exactly what they do. And we want to do that not only in your congregation, but also for your youth groups. So give us a call again. Our number is 702-294-CARE, 294-2273. And all of us, just so you know, yes, it's a medical facility. But you know what? We put the Lord first here in everything. Every day opens in prayer here. We have monthly prayer here that's sponsored here in a Bible study. The Lord is central to everything that we do. And when you come here, you will immediately know that the Lord is present here. I mean, it's just that simple. It's in a way, it's almost like going to your church. I mean, you just know that the Lord is here and is blessing you just by walking in the door. It's an amazing place, So again, if you'd like more information, our number's right below if you're looking on the podcast, or you can give us a call, 702-294-CARE, 294-2273. All right, we had a couple of things that happened over the last week or so. We had the women's tea, and it was a beautiful thing for Mother's Day. Now, I got to say, Max, it was my intention to crash the tea, but I did not. It's just, it was really for the women. And it was awesome. I think we have some video and some highlights. I mean, just wonderful. And it was just so beautiful. I'm really sorry I didn't go because it's just all these beautiful ladies. A lot of them had these gorgeous hats. And it was just absolutely fantastic. I think over 100 ladies showed at this women's tea. And look at that. They're just beautiful ladies. They're just fantastic. And look at that. Even the Queen was there. Look at that, Queen Elizabeth. And so it was just it's not the Queen, not Her Majesty. But it was beautiful. It was just absolutely beautiful. I'm sorry I didn't go. Next week, Max got to go. See, because Max makes it all happen. Not only does he produce the show, but he gets all the inside information a lot of times. And it was beautiful. Deborah Costello, who is the executive director for First Choice Pregnancy Services, she was there. She was a spokesperson, keynote speaker. And Eve Diaz, who is our clinic director, day-to-day operations here, she also spoke, a beautiful lady. I'll tell you something else about Eve. If you want to hear an amazing testimony that you've never heard of before, dig back in our podcasts to where you see Eve Diaz as our guest when we interviewed her not years ago, but months ago. And Eve has an unbelievable testimony. Folks, this young lady, she was a stillbirth. She was dead for hours as a baby. Hours. And yet God decided to bring her back to life in her mother's arms. When they were talking about death certificates and how they were going to put her, bury her and all this stuff. Amazing testimony of Eve Diaz, who is the clinic director here at First Choice. Amazing. You've never heard anything like it. Amazing podcast. I urge you. So if you are interested in seeing that podcast or any of the shows that we've done before, you can look us up on YouTube under FCPS Champions for Life podcast. That's it. Champions for Life podcast. And just dig on back to Eve Diaz's testimony. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So not only did we have the women's tea, we also had a pastor's luncheon where we fed all the pastors in our community at the Four Seasons Church. Special thank you to Pastor Bill Walker for hosting that event. And we do this from time to time, and we're going to continue to do this as we reach out to pastors so that pastors in turn can inform their congregation that we exist, that this clinic is available as a ministry and a resource to every single congregant, every single person in Las Vegas. And oh my goodness, how did this, the host of your show is apparently made it there as well. And it was great. It was meeting with a lot of friends and family, hearing beautiful testimonies. Obviously, Deborah was the keynote speaker again. Deborah Costello, the executive director of First Choice. And it was just beautiful. It was a good luncheon and wonderful speakers there. And it's just awesome. And again, we're going to continue to do this. We're going to continue. There's Christiane Murch. She is former Mrs. Brazil. She's just beautiful lady. Not only is she on the, I think she's still on the board here at First Choice, but she's also on the board of Nevada Right to Life. So very important and just awesome. Talking about question 6, and she will, everyone is quite aware of what's facing us in November. But awesome event. And again, special thank you to Pastor Bill Walker and Four Seasons Church for allowing us to do this. And we're going to continue to do it, by the way. So if you're a pastor in Las Vegas and would love to invite other pastors for lunch, a lunch that we will pay for, and we will introduce those young pastors, wonderful, blessed pastors in Las Vegas to our ministry and tell them what we're all about. Because essentially we're in the same business as our pastor. We're ministering to, we're loving our neighbor, bottom line. And speaking of Love Thy Neighbor, there's a Love Thy Neighbor Festival that's coming up that KKVV is sponsoring, by the way. That's going to be on the 30th of this month. KKVV is hosting a beautiful event. This is the Love Thy Neighbor Festival. Again, this is going to be at 10 a.m. at Mulaski Park. It's a free event, by the way. It's going to be awesome. For those of you who are looking on YouTube and Rumble, and Facebook, there it is. There's the event. This is going to be at 1065 East Twain, Mulaski Park, right here in Las Vegas, May 30th, 10 a.m., all the way to 4 p.m. And there's going to be prizes and gifts. There's going to be giveaways for the kids, giveaways for the folks. Actually, they have these beautiful baskets that they've already prepared, just full of good stuff. For you guys out there, there's going to be some guy baskets out there. You're going to get you some stuff. And it's going to be fantastic. The Love Thy Neighbor Festival, it's the 4th time they've done this, 4th annual Love Thy Neighbor Festival by KKVV. And there's going to be, games and free raffles and a ton of food. You got to come hungry. Do not bring any food. There's going to be a plenty of it. Hot dogs, hamburgers, and everything's going to be, there's going to be amazing testimonies. It's going to be a blast. The kids are going to love it. You're going to love it. Again, that's going to be May 30th at Mulaski Park, M-O-L-A-S-K-Y, Mulaski Park. That's 1065 East Twain Avenue, right here in Las Vegas. And you're gonna be a part of it. You want to be there because you want to support KKVV because, well, we love KKVV because they're the light of Las Vegas. They are the ones that are making it happen with all the fantastic programs, including this show. And so we love KKVV. We love everything they're doing. We love 1060 AM, and we love our neighbor. In fact, the host of your show is going to be there. I'm going to be out of town, but I'm going to tell you how dedicated I am. I'm going to be out of town, but I'm going to fly in. And then the next day is the event. I will be there in the morning, and you'll get to meet me as well. So for those of you who'd like to meet the host of your show, well, it'd be a pleasure to meet you. Again, that'll be Mulaski Park, May 30th at 10 a.m. That's how early. I'll be there, maybe a little earlier. And it's going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right. Let's see. We got some tough news and some good news. Tough news, good news. But before we get to any of it, and of course we're talking about the Supreme Court allowing the mail order abortion pill thing to continue. We're going to talk about that. But we also got some good news from the new interim FDA commissioner, Food and Drug Administration commissioner, Kyle Diamantis. Looks like he's a good guy. This is a good thing. So we're going to be talking about that and maybe some other things as well if we have time. But first, we want to hear from our sponsors. And I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge RTS Postal Express for all your printing needs, whether it's color copies, whether it's black and white copies. Maybe you would like your company or business logo on your shirts or your cups or your umbrellas, or perhaps you need business banners or signs. You name it, RTS Postal Express. My man Angelo, if you mention Champions for Life, you will get a discount on your order, so make it a big one. For more information, contact RTS at 702-489-4859. Again, that's 702-489-4859. RTS Postal Express, one of the proud sponsors of the Champions for Life broadcast. And welcome back, folks, to Champions for Life. Listen, we love our sponsors, by the way. And RTS, by the way, I should say this. RTS Postal Express, if you mention, let's put it this way, if you mention Champions for Life, you're going to get a discount. Bottom line, that's for all your printing, copy colors, business cards, resumes, stuff, whatever it is that you have that you need done, right? printing of any type, color, black and white, doesn't matter. If you mention Champions for Life, you are going to get a discount. So make sure that you give them a call. Make sure your order is big. Not only that, you know what else they do? They do, like your business logo on T-shirts. Just amazing stuff. They also will personalize like coffee mugs and thermoses, kind of like this one. See, I have this thermos right here, right? They have the thermos. It's a special thermos, not this one, but the ones that they have. And they can wrap this entire thing in whatever image or name or whatever it is you have, if you have one already. And if you don't have one, they can create it for you as well. Not only your thermoses, but your coffee mugs. If you want to do wonderful things for your employees, like say, for example, you have an employee of the week or whatever it is, or they've, hit a benchmark or whatever, and you would like to, bless them, recognize them, you can make a coffee cup for them, right? Or you could just blast one for every person in your, because you know how your employees are, because they're always fighting over your coffee cups, and then they always take yours, right? And you don't need that. If you put your name on yours, right, thanks to RTS Postal Express, then guess what? Anybody gets caught with your coffee cup, well, they're in a lot of trouble, right? Anyway, all of this is available through RTS, so give them a call. And RTS, one of the proud sponsors of the Champions for Life radio broadcast and Champions and also First Choice Pregnancy Services. All right, here we go. Supreme Court. This is tough, guys, but it's not over. It's not over. The Supreme Court last week extended the stay on a lower court ban on the mailing of the abortion pill. Okay, basically what this means is the state of Louisiana, whom I love, that's where I'm from, by the way, they issued, first of all, they have very strict pro-life laws in their state, as does half the states in our union, right? Because they just don't want abortion, unbridled abortion, There are some states that love pregnant moms and the children that they're carrying, that they're bearing. And Louisiana is one of them. And the problem they were having was the infiltration of the abortion drug from across state lines into their state. So what was happening now, women, feeling that they could not obtain abortion surgery in their state, decided that they were just simply going to do a mail-in. They'll just mail the pills in from another state, from California or wherever, New York, wherever. And then, so what was happening was essentially the pro-life laws in Louisiana were being bypassed. And so Louisiana, the district attorney there said, the attorney general said, forget this. We are going to sue the Food and Drug Administration for allowing this to continue because we have a ban on it. This should not be happening. And so the lower court ruled that they could, in fact, place this ban. Someone challenged this to the Supreme Court, and they uplifted the ban on it temporarily while the lower court reviews the final decision for the ban. So that's basically where we're at. So essentially, because of what the Supreme Court did last week, this means the dangerous abortion pill, mifepristone, can still be mailed to customers nationwide while the lower court addresses the case from Louisiana seeking to stop them nationwide. And the High Court's temporary stay, keep in mind it's temporary, issued on May 8th, expired at 5 p.m., and the court extended the stay today, the stay basically allowing the drugs to continue to be shipped and dispensed through the post office. It's going to extend the stay while the case continues. And unfortunately, there were only 2 justices, only 2 of the 9 Supremes who objected. And, of course, our heroes, Justice Clarence Thomas and Justice Samuel Alito. And they believe that this stay should have remained the stay on the accessibility of the drug via the U.S. Post Office and these telehealth-type entities that were sending these drugs. That should have been maintained while the case was being reviewed by the lower court. Justice Samuel Alito wrote in his dissent that allowing mail order and telehealth access to mifepristone, that's the abortion drug, is a scheme to undermine the court's decision in Dobbs overturning Roe v. Wade and the right of states to protect babies from abortions. And Justice Thomas agreed. He said applicants are not entitled to a stay of an adverse court order based on lost profits from their criminal enterprise. Oh, man. I was just telling Max before the show. I said, the older Clarence Thomas gets, Justice Thomas, the more I love the guy. Right? He continued. He said, they cannot, in any legally relevant sense, be irreparably harmed by a court order that makes it more difficult for them to commit crimes. I just love him. I love Clarence. These guys obviously are very pro-life. And, but regardless of that, you talk, ideology, in a sense, because, I don't think the life issue is an ideological one. I believe it is a human rights issue. Nevertheless, everybody has opinions on it, on abortion, correct? I still think that when you can show that there's a harm being done and not state laws are being overridden by the, in this case, mail-order drugs crossing into their state, then I think you can make the argument simply from a human rights secular viewpoint, if you will, right? Because these are laws that are in place that were placed there by the people of Louisiana. And they're being negated by these other companies that are outside the borders, still in the United States, but outside the borders of the state. There was a time when states were considered to be sovereign, and that is, it's more than ideological. It's a fact. And states have the right to be able to rule their states how they see fit and pass laws that affect them and the people that state governs. And these companies from outside the states, they're negating these laws, the laws that are in place, specifically the pro-life laws in Louisiana. The case was brought by Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill, who argued that the FDA failed to adequately consider the safety of the abortion drug. And Carol Tobias, president of National Right to Life, absolutely agrees. She said, this decision, deeply troubling because it leaves women exposed to powerful abortion drugs. Women facing unexpected pregnancies deserve real medical care and support, not a one-size-fits-all mail-order abortion system that minimizes risks and leaves women isolated during medical emergencies. And she didn't stop. She said, when abortion drugs can be ordered online with minimal medical oversight and shipped directly to homes, women become more vulnerable to coercion, manipulation, and exploitation. And that is so true. I had a list of all of the crimes that have been committed by men against women who have drugged them with mifepristone and forcing them to obtain abortions that they didn't want. And it is a crime. These guys should be put away in jail. One of them was a doctor. Amazing. And Carol said that there have already been disturbing reports of abusive partners obtaining abortion drugs and administering them to women without their knowledge or consent. And a regulatory system with weaker safeguards makes these crimes easier to commit and harder to prevent. And the evidence and concerns surrounding chemical abortion remain serious and unresolved. And just a cursory review of the dangers of this abortion drug make it amply evident that something needs to be done on the federal level. This drug is dangerous. Yes, I understand that it ends the life of the child, but I'm not talking about that. The drug itself, when it's been taken by a young lady who's never had a sonogram, right? Where there's no way to medically determine the age of the child that is within the womb, then this drug becomes very dangerous. For example, if a young lady has an ectopic pregnancy, now for those of you who are, for you ladies out there, you know what I'm talking about. For you guys, maybe you don't. An ectopic pregnancy is when the child begins to develop in the fallopian tube, not in the uterus, but in the fallopian tube. And that becomes very dangerous for the woman. Well, if she takes the abortion drug, she could risk her life. And there's only one way to determine if the child is developing in the fallopian tube. You can't tell. There's no way to feel that the child is developing there. The only way to do it is under a medical examination via an ultrasound, sonogram. And the only way to do that is with an in-person visit. All of this is being bypassed by young mothers being able to get this poison, this drug, across state lines. And they're risking their lives. And in 2022, there were 28 deaths. Actually, I think it was, no, I think that number's up to 36, I believe. And of young women that have died from just taking the abortion drug. Now, proponents of the drug are going to say, well, I mean, that's only 36 out of, 100,000. That's just a small percentage. Yeah, it is. But what you don't realize is how many women are ending up in the emergency room because of it, because of the problems associated with the abortion drugs. And it's not just a drug. It's a two-part drug. The first drug that they give you, mifepristone, ends the life of the child that the mother is carrying. It suffocates it does this by blocking progesterone, which is a hormone that the mother produces to help the baby grow in the womb, right? Well, this drug, mifepristone, blocks that hormone. So the baby dies, basically suffocates inside the mother's womb. The second drug, after 24 hours, you take the second drug was a Cytotec. There's other names for it, I presume, but Cytotec was the original name for it. And this expels, it causes contractions, and the mother then expels after hours of cramping, delivers a dead child. And this happens in their home, which is frightening. And it's critical. I mean, for this drug to be spread indiscriminately throughout the United States, regardless of half of the state's laws saying, please don't do this. We have pro-life laws in our states, right? For this drug to be just indiscriminately and irresponsibly distributed by all these companies that are only going to make money from sending this poison across state lines is just simply wrong. Louisiana says we don't want this drug, and yet it's pouring into their state. And they're not the only state. I think over half of the states in the United States have laws restricting sending the abortion drug into their state. I think we did a story about a month ago, dealing with all the states that have pro-life laws on the books restricting, saying, listen, we don't want the abortion pill. But guess what? It's happening anyway. And it's just wrong. And so, unfortunately for now, this is going to continue. And said Erica Enzina, who is the policy director for Louisiana Right to Life, she said, we are deeply disappointed that the Supreme Court has allowed this dangerous mail-order abortion drug policy to continue while the case proceeds. Nonetheless, this order should not be mistaken as the Supreme Court approving the FDA's reckless decision to remove basic safeguards for abortion drugs. At this moment, it merely means that the status quo will remain while the lower courts continue to consider the case. And that's going to happen. The problem that I worry about is that you've already had a majority of Supreme Court justices that have kind of allowed it. But the case is slightly different because they were ruling on whether the drug should continue while the lower court's decision was made. It's kind of a different sway rather than on just the merits of whether the abortion drug is safe. But said Erica, still women and girls deserve better than mail order abortion in an industry that profits while avoiding accountability. Louisiana has the right and duty to protect mothers and unborn babies from abortion drugs being shipped into our state in violation of our pro-life laws, which govern the practice of medicine. And we remain grateful to Attorney General Liz Murrill for her leadership and to Rosalie Markozich. Now, Rosalie is the young woman, right, that got pregnant for her boyfriend. Her boyfriend ordered the drugs, this poison, and coerced her into taking this drug. Said abortion. She really didn't want the abortion, but she felt overly pressured by her boyfriend to take this drug and ended up ending the life of her baby. And so along with her and the state of Louisiana, they filed lawsuit and said Erica, said, we are encouraged by the strong dissents from Justice Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, who recognize the serious legal and public interest concerns at stake. This fight's far from over, and Louisiana Right to Life will continue working to expose the dangers of abortion drugs and defend every life that remains at risk under this policy. Story continues. Early this month, responding to requests from two lawmakers on the dangerous abortion pill, the Supreme Court reversed the block on mail-order abortions the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals had put in place. And the makers of the abortion pill, mifepristone, asked the Supreme Court on last week to overturn the federal appeals court ruling that temporarily blocked the mailing of the drug nationwide. So, yeah, of course, the Danco Laboratories and Gen BioPro, these two, listen, they're wreaking profits galore, as Planned Parenthood makes absolutely sure that they have this drug by the millions to dispense to every single state, regardless of their pro-life laws. So they're making bank. So they don't want, the last thing they want is to see a law which stops them from being able to dispense this drug. And for a little history, the Fifth Circuit sided with the Fifth Circuit Court's order on banning it temporarily, which of course, Louisiana sued the Biden administration over the policy allowing telemedicine prescriptions and mail-order delivery of the abortion pill. The state argued that the changes undermined its abortion ban and forced it to spend Medicaid funds on emergency care for women harmed by the drug. And the ruling restores the in-person dispensing safeguard the FDA had lifted during the COVID-19 pandemic and made permanent in the 2023 under Joe Biden. And Attorney General Liz Muriel, whom we absolutely love, said that the Biden abortion cartel facilitated the deaths of thousands of Louisiana babies, millions in other states, she said, through illegal mail-order abortion pills. Today, that nightmare is over, talking about when the initial stay was put in place. Today, that nightmare is over thanks to the hard work of my office and our friends at the Alliance Defending Freedom. I look forward to continue to defending women and babies as this case continues, but now we know that the stay has been overturned, and so the proliferation of this drug continues. But it's not over because the lower court, Fifth Circuit, still going to continue to rule. Going to continue to rule because they're reevaluating this case. And so, the bottom line on this drug, folks, the bottom line is it's just simply poison. It's for people that hate children and hate motherhood. And it's a sorry thing. I know there's a lot of you that say, well, Ken, that's a pretty blanket statement to say for women that, maybe they have already have children, they want to limit their family. But, we live in an age, I won't say an enlightenment, but it's very obvious that women who are pregnant are bearing children. They have a prenatal child in the womb. And so when they take this abortion drug, I literally call it poison. You take a child that has a beating heartbeat, has brain waves, has, in many cases, fully formed arms and legs. They're just tiny, but they're still there. They have fingers and toes and legs and arms, right? And it ends their life in the womb, supposed to be the safest place for a child, for a human being to be. And now it ends up being a coffin. And the sad reality of this is that these children who are now being aborted in homes, a person, it used to be that, a person's home was their sanctuary, kind of. And now it's ending up being just another abortion facility. And we've already heard testimony from women who said, you know what, I can't even go to my own home anymore because every time I go into a certain room or I go into the bathroom, right, I'm reminded of what I did. Every time I look in the mirror. I mean, this is so unnatural, what is happening in America today with this abortion drug, which is why I love what First Choice is doing, providing women an option to reverse the effects of this drug if they call First Choice in time. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're considering taking the abortion drug. Maybe you're listening to this broadcast today and say, you know what? I've got an abortion scheduled, or I've obtained the abortion drug, and I'm thinking about taking it. I really am. I've got 3 kids already. I don't want another one. I really don't. Can't afford it. Don't think anybody's going to help me. I urge you. I cannot urge you more to call First Choice and speak with our counselors and find out the plethora of resources that are available for you. First of all, you're going to be loved to pieces when you come here. Everybody's just going to love you, right? They're going to love on you, and they're going to show you and say, listen, they'll tell you everything that you want to know, as much as you want to know, right? But if you want an ultrasound, they'll give you a free ultrasound for your baby. And see, I'll tell you something that they do here. I don't know whether I should or not, but I used to have them handy. But, for moms that request it, very often you'll hear the baby's heartbeat, right? In the ultrasound, you can hear it. Well, what they do here at First Choice, they record the heartbeat on a little red heart-shaped recorder. I think is a keychain too, I think. And they just give it to you. They just give it to the mom free of charge. If you want to take it, you can have it. And it's just a beautiful thing as a reminder. They say, you know what? It's a reminder that there's a baby that's growing, that's just as happy as could be, right? That's trusting their mom to do the very best for them, right? In their womb, just living as happily as they can be. And listen, we're all about birthdays here at First Choice. But the bottom line is, if you want more information about your child or any of the abortion procedures that you're considering, maybe you're thinking about taking the abortion pill, maybe you're thinking about, going to an abortion facility, get more information. I urge you, it's all free. Give First Choice a call. Again, our number, 702-294-2273. Again, that's 702-294-CARE. And make an appointment. Come on down. Even if you don't want to make an appointment, just drive here. We're at 860 East Sahara, 860 East Sahara, just next to Tower of Jewels, just down the street. There's a little alleyway, and you'll see it. And First Choice, you don't even need an appointment. Just come on down and just talk to our counselors, right? Talk to our nurses and our staff. Get to know them. Find out more information, because there's a lot of misinformation about, from people that they have an agenda, The thing for us is we don't really get anything from helping you medically. There's nothing that we get. We do not profit monetarily on whether you have your child or don't have your child here at First Choice. There is no agenda other than to help you and love you and the child that you're carrying. But even if you don't see it that way, at least get more information. And you can do so by giving us a call. Again, 702-294-CARE, 294-2273. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to hear from our sponsors, and we will be right back. I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of the great sponsors that make this portion of the broadcast possible, and that's Dr. Ray Kelly of Kelly Chiropractic. Treats injuries from falls, accidents, motor vehicle crashes, work-related incidents. For those of you who are suffering from allergies, he also has a procedure called acutherapy, going to treat your allergies and ease some of that discomfort. Accepts most forms of insurance. Been in the business over 33 years here in Las Vegas. Give him a call. Set up your appointment. The number is 702-870-9200. And welcome back, folks, to the Champions for Life broadcast. I want to thank Dr. Ray Kelly, one of the sponsors of this broadcast. Dr. Ray Kelly, an amazing chiropractor. And listen, he's not just a guy that cracks your back. He has his experience and his expertise far exceeds chiropractic care. Some of the stuff that he does, including acutherapy, for those of you suffering from allergies, is simply amazing. You really want to check into some of that if that's something that you're suffering from. But he's also, not only is he a pastor, but he's also an author now. And get this, look at that. He has just written a book and is already working on, I think he's actually finishing up a second book. It's a sequel to this one. But here it is, Demystifying the Experience of Relationship with God. Now, I tried to get him to make a longer title, but he wouldn't do it. Demystifying the Mystical Experience of Relationship with God. Making the Process Understandable and Relevant. It's a brand new book. It's beautiful, actually. I haven't read it yet. I'm about to go on a little bit of a trip. While I'm on the trip, I'm going to read this book and then come back, and we're going to bring Doc Kelly onto the broadcast. And then we're going to grill him on we're going to grill him on his book. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. This is like hot off the press. Demystifying the mystical experience of relationship with God. And, Dr. Ray told me, he said, really, Kenny, he said, it's just a book about people that are considering our faith, the Christian faith, or are new believers in Christ. He said, this book, I've geared it to try and make it simple about, what it is and what it means to be a Christian today. And so, listen, this guy, I can't tell you how smart he is. He's, photographic memory, brilliant guy, also a pastor, got more letters and doctorates and stuff on his wall, you wouldn't believe it. But the nicest guy. And he's a great chiropractor. I mean, he has helped my daughter and me immensely. And, for a time there, I got to be honest with you, for a time there was no way I could swing a golf club. And now I'm back to playing. And it's all due to him directly. And not only that, and of course the Lord, whom, he loves. Obviously, he's a pastor. But my daughter as well. My daughter suffering from migraine headaches, right? Every single month, migraine, debilitating, shut her down, get me out of school, shut down. And Doc Kelly, listen, one day maybe we'll bring her on the show. She loves Doc Kelly for what he has been able to do for her in alleviating migraines, such as a debilitating, malady to have. And we love Doc Kelly. We really do. And I look forward to interviewing him on his book. All right. In the time remaining, I want to mention again the upcoming events that are coming up. Mark your calendar. August 21st. Now, I know it's the end of summer, but August 21st, we're going to have another medical professional meeting. This is specifically for medical professionals. Call to Care, Partners in Life Medical Professional Gathering, right here at First Choice. More than likely, it's going to be in the evening. But again, just mark your calendar. I think it's going to be probably, this last one was at 6 p.m. And the next one might just very well be at that time or somewhere in the evening. But that'll be August 21st. And then if you're marking your calendar, mark September 18th. That's the Champions for Life Gala. And don't know where it's going to be, yet to be determined where it's going to be, but it's going to be awesome. It's just going to be awesome. And we're looking forward to that. One of the great things about these galas, I got to be honest with you, is getting to meet these moms who've decided, that we've helped and now have this beautiful bouncing baby. And they're, just the gratefulness and happiness and joy that they're experiencing. I love seeing that. I never get tired of meeting, lady after lady, it's mom after mom, family after family. It's just because you get to see firsthand, your efforts, what your dollars, what your time, what your efforts are going towards. You're seeing the end result of that. And it's just so beautiful. And the crazy thing is not just one or two. We have thousands of them. 47,000 plus babies are alive. Speaking of which, at the, I believe it was at the T, we had a crazy, crazy thing. 16 years ago, a young lady came to our clinic, right? Pregnant mom, troubled, didn't know what to do. Didn't know whether to have an abortion, keep the baby, nothing, didn't know. Came to our clinic, gave her an ultrasound, showed her baby and said, holy smokes, that's my baby. If you help me, I'm keeping my baby. And she did. And she had this beautiful baby girl. Well, guess what? 16 years later, the daughter and mom ended up at our T, right? Beautiful young girl. Right? And guess what we're going to do? That young daughter and mom, obviously, are so in love with First Choice and what we do here that she's going to be a part. She wants to be a part, even as a 16-year-old, to try and reach, her youth, her contemporaries at school. And so she's going to be more and more involved in the days and months and years ahead. And it's just a fantastic thing to see, how things just come full circle a little bit. And, I've kind of experienced that a little bit with my daughter. My beautiful daughter is entering the medical profession. And she is very excited about what First Choice does. And it's just amazing to see what God can do and how God can not only bless life, but bless it in such a way that that your child and children end up being a part of the very ministry that then in turn goes and blesses other mothers and families. It's an incredible feeling to see and to behold. And so if you can make the gala on September 18th, I encourage you to come, if for no other reason than to meet these young moms who now have this beautiful bouncing baby girl or boy and are just so happy and so grateful. So the gratitude is it's so real. I mean, it's a happy event. It's an absolute happy event. And so again, that'll be September 18th. We don't know where yet, but you can bet that it is going to be right here in Las Vegas. It's going to be a fantastic time. So mark your calendar, September 18th, the Champions for Life Gala. And, of course, August 21st, probably right here at First Choice, is going to be our medical professional gathering. Again, if you're a nurse, doctor, you work in the medical field at all, then you want to be a part of this. Maybe you have your own practice. You want to be a part of this so that we can align ourselves and see how we can help each other, help our community. Amen. That'll be August 21st, the Call to Care Partners in Life Medical Professional Gathering right here at First Choice. And September 18th, the Champions for Life Gala. So mark your calendars. Do not let anything else interfere with those two dates. All right. In the time remaining, I do have some good news. And I told you it was going to be a little good news. And the good news is, remember how the Attorney General of Louisiana filed this lawsuit, right? We were just talking about it because it went to the Supreme Court. And the Food and Drug Administration is the one that oversees the restrictions on all medications that are, not only just food, but medicine as well. And in this case, the abortion pill, they oversee all of that. And they now have an interim commissioner at the Food and Drug Administration. His name is Kyle Diamantis, right? And he is replacing Marty McCary, whom we could not be happier to see leave, right? And actually, he resigned last week. Goodbye. And so the problem with McCary is that the fact that, he was ignoring how dangerous the abortion pill was and how many millions of children have been died and how many thousands of women have been injured by this drug. And he's slow walking a study that the Food and Drug, he claimed, if you recall, he claimed that, well, we're doing this study, but, we got to find out the effects of the drug that, the millions that have gone, that have been taken. And we're still analyzing the effect. And we have a problem uploading our software and we need a guy that can do that. Really? Really? Well, guess what? He's gone. He's gone. And now we have it's interim FDA Commissioner Kyle Diamantis, and it looks like this is a good guy, right? And again, his name is Kyle Diamantis. And the March for Life president, Jenny Lichter, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, Jenny reached out to Diamantis and said that Diamantis is already began an outreach to pro-life leaders within hours of assuming his new role in the Food and Drug Administration. This is good news, folks. And Lichter said that she had a positive conversation with him. Said, I had a great conversation last night with Kyle, the new acting FDA commissioner. In other words, within hours of being handed this big new job, he was on the phone with pro-life leaders, which is an encouraging sign of where his priorities lie. And after talking with him, I'm optimistic that the cause of life will get a full and fair hearing at the FDA. and some real movement on the mifepristone safety study. So listen, folks, this is good news. It's not. We're making inroads. Yes, I know it's tough. I know the battle continues. I know it's, we trudge on through this and we're heartbroken. But you know what? God has given us avenues to make a difference, not only in our community, but nationwide. So continue to pray. Pray for Commissioner Kyle Diamantis, that God will use him to curb this dangerous poison that's being spread throughout the United States and the world. And it can make a difference. And here in Las Vegas and in the state of Nevada, continue to pray. Question 6 is coming up. For those of you who are going to do early voting, please vote no on question 6. And because this particular law, which will be an amendment to our Constitution, will allow unrestricted abortion through all 9 months. Parental notification is gone for minors who are looking for an abortion. No restrictions. And the doctor requirement to do an abortion, that's gone. I mean, it's crazy. So I urge you, please vote no on question 6. All right, folks, listen, we've come to the end of the broadcast today. It's been, as usual, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. If you have questions about anything, or if you'd like to to get more information about First Choice, I urge you, take a tour of this facility. You will be blown away by like I said, the angels that walk around here. It's an amazing facility, a life-saving sanctuary in the heart of Las Vegas. And you can do that by giving them a call. Their number, 702-294-CARE. That's 294-2273. Call them, set up, take a tour, fall in love with this beautiful ministry, and introduce us to your church and pastor. Amen? Well, folks, that's it today. Again, it's been a pleasure. Remember this. If you don't remember anything else, the Lord loves you, and you are a champion for life.